my friend Peter Forsgård has published an amazing street photography book, and the title is From Snapshots to Stories. You know what? Peter Forsgård is here in Kuala Lumpur. I think it's an amazing opportunity to speak to him, ask him to talk about his book, and maybe share a few more tips about street photography. Let's do this! I have Peter Forsgård's book here, and I have Peter here as well. Hi Peter, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm really good. Well, Peter, tell us about yourself, what you do, for those people who don't already know who you are.
Well, I'm Peter Forsgård, like Robin already said. I'm a photographer from Helsinki, Finland, and I've been photographing as a professional since 1990, so for quite a long time. And my main thing nowadays is corporate videos and corporate portraits, executive portraits, and that kind of stuff. And then I also do a lot of street photography on my free time and run a YouTube channel about street photography. And yeah, that's the short answer for it.
He forgot to say he runs a really awesome YouTube channel on street photography. Really awesome. That's very important.
Yeah, I was using exaggerated words as a Finn. So thank you for that.
No worries.
Nice words.
Just for the context of the video, why are you in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, all the way from Finland, Peter?
Well, we had an excellent workshop last week with Robin and Matti, who is at the moment in Australia, called Urban Street Narratives. And we had a really great time for the whole week with the participants. And of course, the three of us enjoyed everything. And the most interesting thing was to see the progress of everybody, how they started a bit shy at first and don't know what the story is, and then they all came up with amazing photo stories. And another thing is, I've never been here before, and to be honest, it has become one of my favorite street photography cities. So if you ever plan on coming here, it's worth it.
I'm really glad that you love Malaysia as a street photography destination. And I just want to add that even the workshop, the Kuala Lumpur photography workshop that me, Peter and Matti did for the past week, it has been an amazing experience. I think our participants have learned something. They've told us in the feedback, overwhelmingly positive. They just enjoyed themselves. I think we should do more, Peter. What do you think?
Yeah, maybe we'll come back next year.
Yeah, stay tuned to our channels for any announcement on the future workshops. All right, now that we know why Peter is in Kuala Lumpur, let's talk about his book. Let's get right into the business, like what Peter always says.
Yeah, let's get right into the business, yeah.
So Peter, what inspired you to make this book?
Well, I've written books before, and the first one was 2004, which was a book for people that have to photograph for their work, even though they're not photographers. You know, inside a corporation, photograph their parties, venues, and maybe take some portraits. And it's a book for those, so that they can learn to do it better.
Understand.
And then I ruptured my Achilles tendon, I think it is, in January 25. And had a cast on my leg for 8 weeks. And was thinking about, I need to do something. And then I realized that I have tons and tons of content on my YouTube channel that can be turned into a book. So what I did, I downloaded all the transcripts from my videos and then rewrote them into a form of a book. So the idea came from there. And there are some topics that are not covered in my videos yet. I'll probably make a video about those. And and I think still a book is a good format too. Yes, you can learn from YouTube, but it's scattered. All the information is in pieces all over the YouTube. But here, I've collected, so it's right there in your bookshelf. It's easy to pick up and hopefully learn something.
I really do agree with Peter. I've watched his channel for years, and fun fact, if you guys don't know, it was Peter that inspired Matti Sulanto to start making videos, and then Matti inspired me to start making my YouTube channel. So it all came from Peter, right? And he has tons of useful information, especially about street photography on his channel. And like he said, it is scattered because a video can only be 10, 15 minutes, the most 30 minutes long. And he has compiled everything into this book, which is like a guide it's like a nice list of all the important things that he has shared on this channel. I think you guys should really check this out. So Peter, from the title, it's Street Photography, from Snapshots to Stories. This book is about street photography. Tell us, who is this book written for? And why is this book different from any other street photography books out there? Because I think there are a lot of street photography books out there.
You didn't come up with any harder question. Well, first of all, it's anyone who wants to learn to become a better storyteller with photography, because we all take random shots, and I've seen in many lectures and many workshops that I've had and instructed and all that, people tend to photograph everything they see without a purpose.
Understand.
And I think when you read that book, you might find your purpose, because the purpose, of course, is different to all of us. And finding that purpose makes you instantly better. But the problem is that it doesn't come overnight to find the purpose.
Yes.
You need to think what you like in the street, what interests you, and don't overthink the whole process, but just continue and look at your images and see what it is. And I bet that book can help then to structure your own mind, what to photograph, why. And I think that also makes the book a little bit different, since it's more about the storytelling. It's not about technique. There is, of course, there is a little chapter about some recommendations about the gear, and then also a chapter about why a small gear might be better than having a huge amount of gear, and there are some reasons for that why, and I've also talked about that quite a bit on my videos. But I think that kind of answers, I hope, the very hard question.
Yes, it is. And having read the book myself, I must say that I'm really impressed, Peter, on how you actually not just encourage people to try different techniques. Like you said, it's not just all about techniques. And a lot of other street photography books, they are too caught up in getting people to achieve those bombastic shots or those fantastic, very visually striking shots. But this book dives a lot deeper than that. It encourages you to think further, to think deeper, and to ask the questions, why are you taking the photographs in the first place? And I think it's very important for us to understand the process before we're actually doing it. You have to read the book to find out. I'm not going to spoil it all for you here.
Yeah, and one more thing. And in the book, I'm not teaching you to photograph like I do. It's more general. It's more about what you, as a photographer, finding your own voice. And I think that helps for that, because I'm not one of those teachers that teaches or tells you how to do it. You have to find it yourself and make your own style and your own interests.
And we are all different photographers.
Exactly.
Feel free to explore your own style. Peter, I'm really impressed of the variety of topics you cover in this book. From street photography techniques to ethics of doing street photography to even to overcoming challenges, and those are very, very well written. And you've also mentioned that all these topics are not really in chronological order, meaning that you don't have to read them in sequence. You can pick up any topic and read at any time. So I'm just really curious, Peter, which one of these topics was your favorite to write? And if you were to recommend a topic for someone to read first, which one would you personally recommend?
Well, let me ask first which one was the my favorite to write. I think chapter 6, developing your eye.
Oh,
That was probably the toughest one. And there's also a chapter or a part of that chapter is Gestalt principle, which I found a couple of years ago, which is really interesting. A German philosophy. I'm not going to get into that right now. I have a video about that, and you have to read the book. And there's also was an exhibition by David Lynch, the famous movie director, and he had this thing that we go deep like fish, because to really get the greatest idea, you have to really go deep. And that can be a bit scary too if you go really deep into your mind.
Understand.
Because that might be some scary stuff there. But that's, I think, if you want to really be a good street photographer, you need to think with your gut and go really deep.
Understand.
To get those stories, because there are tons and tons of photographs, which I'm guilty of too, that you have a nice composition, then you just wait for someone to walk in. It's a beautiful photograph, but I don't think it's in a deeper sense. It's that much. There are some of those photographs in the book too. So, I'm not saying that I'm any better than anybody, but that's something that we need to think about. And then about which one to read first. That depends on what stage you are or think you are. If you are already done quite a long time street photography and you're into it, then maybe chapter 6 could be developing your eye, could be. And then about the ethics is always a good thing to read about, because that is something that of course varies in a different city because different countries because of the laws and stuff. But there are some universal things that you respect people, and no is no if you want to do street portraits and stuff like that, and then how you like to photograph, let's say, people in need, beggars and stuff. And if you're not making a journalistic documentary about poverty, then don't photograph.
Understand.
First of all, they're too easy, and you're exploiting the people. Even though I think when we're doing street photography and use people as our props, sometimes we're exploiting it to some extent. But it's a hard question. But maybe those two. And then if you're just starting out, then start from page 1.
True, always start from page 1.
If you're just starting out, then...
Actually, I have to agree, Peter. Now that he has mentioned it, it makes sense. Actually, start with the ethics, like what to do and what not to do, and understand what you can do, especially in public space. And of course, you must also understand locally the rules and regulations, because it's different from every country.
Exactly,
I think, you have to know what you can and cannot do before you actually start and go out and take all the photographs. That's actually a very good point, Peter. In your book, Peter, you categorized street photography to 2 groups. One is the documentary style, and 2 is artistic style. In your own street photography, I'm sure you do both, documentary and artistic. Which one do you like doing more, or do you do both together and blend them somehow?
Well, of course, the ultimate goal is to make a document that is very artistic, but that's really hard because you can't really control on the streets where the light comes, where the things happen. And someone might photobomb and just be at the wrong spot and ruins the shot. So it's really hard. But I would say that maybe artistic is more, because if it's an artistically pleasing image, there is a wider audience. Because there are those who understand the documentary side or the story side, and then there are those who embrace the visual, the pleasing image.
Understand.
So maybe a combination. But I'm not a pure documentarist in the sense of like a journalistic documents. I've never done that in a broader sense. So maybe artistic.
Artistic. And also, I love that Peter has a very good balance of both examples of artistic and documentary styles. If you really look at the examples of the photographs, there are a lot of photographs in this book. And I agree with Peter, even myself. The first thing that I'll go to will be the artistic style. And sometimes when I want to go deeper, I want to tell a more compelling story, then I'll approach my street photography from the documentary style. But I agree with you. It's the wider appeal. I look at the image, you immediately love it. It's very, very striking. In the page 78 of this book, you say that street photographs do not tell stories. That sentence, that saying, it sticks to my mind. I cannot stop thinking about it. Street photographs do not tell stories, because I agree with it. And I didn't really think of it so much, but somehow it clicks. Because a lot of street photographers, or even general photographers, they try to force their narrative on the viewers. And I find that, why don't we just let the viewers form their own story when seeing the photographs? Do you think this is very important, and do you want to talk more about this?
What I don't usually caption my photographs. The reason is that I don't want to tell them what the story is. If they have the same story and see the same story as I am, okay, that's fine. But everyone sees the story based on their own lives, and this is a totally different culture that we have in the Nordics and in Finland.
Yes.
Probably my photographs have different stories to people here in Malaysia than they have here in Finland. And of course there are different stories. You might see them differently. These people in this cafeteria might see them all differently, because they have a different life experience. And I think that's the most important thing, because I don't want to force the story.
Yes.
that's something that I don't want to do. I might take a photograph and think that this could make a good story, and then people interpret it the way they are. And there are no wrong interpretations.
No.
I think every story that you find in your photograph is right.
Yes.
And that's also what I mean, that I don't want you guys to photograph after reading the book like I do. It doesn't tell you to do that.
Yeah.
It's more about your own creativity and imagination. And the better imagination and creativity you have, the more stories you come up with that, or from the images you see.
Yes. And it is like a great song, a popular hit song. Everyone has a different interpretation. Everyone can relate to the song differently. It means different things to different people. I think great photographs should also be the same. We don't force our narrative, or we don't tell our viewers what it is. And I see this a lot, all right, especially in exhibitions or even on Instagram, for example. Some people will write like paragraphs and paragraphs long on about the photograph, but honestly, when I look at the caption and what they wrote, it has nothing to do with the photograph. They're just trying to make the photograph sound fancier than it is.
Yeah.
And if it's really a good photograph, then the viewer will be able to form the story in their mind. If they cannot do that, they need your help to write the long captions that I think is not a good photograph already.
I agree.
It is not an easy undertaking making and publishing the book. You have to write the text, and then you have to compile the images, and then you have to actually bring it to a publisher and make it happen. So I'm just really curious, Peter, like in the whole process of making the book, what are the challenges that you have faced? And tell us some stories about the difficulties of actually making a book, because I think some people will actually want to publish a book.
Well, first of all, usually when writing the book is of course the writing part, but that was kind of done before, because I made the videos and I already had kind of like the structured idea what the content will be. But then what was the hardest part, of course, was designing the book, because I did it myself, and especially my daughter said that he would have wanted to do that, but or she would have wanted to do that, but then of course finding the way to publish it. Okay, it's available on Amazon and some other online bookstores. So setting all that up and figuring out all the right formats, and signing up to Amazon as a writer, and then it has a Finnish ISBN number. And that was also because first they declined. They said that only publishers can have that.
Okay.
So what I did, I'm a published company now also. So I said, okay, I'll do that.
Nice.
And then I got it, because I wanted to be, published in Finland and not Amazon as a publisher.
Understand.
And then I also wanted to make a Kindle version of it. But then there was this funny problem that I did not know that the fonts that are in the computer are not, you're not right, have a right to use them in online or Kindle books, e-publications, which is kind of strange, but you can use it everywhere else except. So I had to find an open source font. But the problem was, of course, when you have already designed the book, then you need to find a font that is so that it doesn't break the whole structure. So I did find
to maintain the layout.
It looked similar and didn't, break out the layout. So all kinds of problems, and that took me like one day to figure that out. Because, just of course, someone more savvy could have done it faster, but it was. Yeah. So all the problems were something that I did not think would be a problem. I thought that writing the book, and of course deciding what to left out and what to include. It's the same thing in photographs: what to include and what to leave out.
Curating.
Stuff. And there are some things that I left out that could be sometime somewhere in the future book. We don't know.
Yeah, and the thanks for sharing about the font challenges. Like I didn't know about that.
Well, I found out when I made the book.
It's different ebook publishers will have different requirements. So, these are the challenges that you only know when you're actually doing it. And well, since Peter has a challenge, he has faced it already, I'm sure, like in the future, if you want to publish your own photo book, Peter will be the guy to ask for advice. So feel free to contact Peter, yeah?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So getting out from the book for a while, this is not covered in the book. There's something extra for you guys viewing this video. Since we have Peter here, we want to squeeze everything out of Peter. So in your opinion, you have observed a lot of street photographers. What is the one biggest or the most common mistake that the street photographers do?
Well, there are, I think, two things. The first one is that people don't challenge themselves. You know? They kind of like take the easy route and take the beautiful shot that everybody else thinks and get lots of likes on Instagram. And I think it's the wrong way. That you need to push yourself. But then the second problem that might rise is overthinking. People start overthinking what lens, what camera, where should I go, and is this good enough? Need to be a story. Don't worry about that. Don't overthink. Just go out and shoot and look at your photographs. And as we talked earlier, find a purpose from those photographs. What did you like to shoot? And of course, it's inspiring to look other photographers' work. But I see too many taking the easy step and photographing one person in a pocket of light. It is nice photograph, and I've done those. As I said, there's one in the book. But still, it's too easy. Challenge yourself and
understand.
Because that's how you get better. If you want to get better, of course. If you just want to enjoy photography, do whatever you want. And if you're happy with your photographs, it's totally fine. I'm not saying that you have to do it, but if you want to do it, then you need to push yourself and don't take that. How do you explain the easiest route?
Easier way, yes. I agree.
You need to struggle a little bit.
And just like any sports, say swimming or tennis, if you want to get better, if you want to improve your skills, if you want to be a champion in the game, you want to play a competitive sport, you have got to put into work. Like what Peter said, you have to push yourself. You don't stay comfortable. And also, especially if, let's say, you want to get better in health, you want to be fitter, right? You have to exercise. Don't overthink. That's the second point, right?
Yeah.
There'll be the analysis paralysis. We have listened to so many advice. They try to do too many things, but all you have to do is just do it and stay consistent. I think the same applies to photography.
Yeah.
Those are very, very good advice for the photographers.
Just grab the camera and go out and shoot.
Yes.
That's the way to be better.
Yep. Okay, Peter, I have taken too much of your time already, so just one last question. Okay, one last question.
All right, hit it.
Will there be a second book?
Yeah, that's actually not my second. First book.
Okay.
I wrote, as I said earlier, I wrote the book in 2004.
Okay.
And that one will be probably republished in English with updated information, because that book in 2004, I was talking also about film, which was not the thing anymore that much. So, and I will talk about social media in the new book. So that'll be one. And then I wrote in 2008 and 2012, made books for Canon, Finland, which was called Better Images with, and then there were Canon cameras, and then it was kind of like an extended manual, and that was given as a extra when they bought a Canon DSLR back in the day. We're talking about the D30s.
Understand.
Understand. EOS, what was it? 350, 400. That's serious.
Yes.
And that was like 3 or 4 different books. So that's kind of like 6th book.
All right.
And yes, I already have another one about street photography, which will be more of a basic, like ABC of street photography type book. That's just like a working title. I don't know what it's going to be.
Street photography for dummies or something.
No, I don't think it's for dummies. But yeah, kind of a similar thing, which will be more basic, because that's a little bit more advanced book.
Okay.
But it's in my mind, and I can't promise anything when I will publish it, but I will.
Looking forward to those.
Have another one.
Let's come back to this book. I have read it, and I think it's a fantastic book. It's for everyone, honestly. You can pick up this book. There's a lot to unpack here, from techniques, from learning how to think and see when you're shooting the street. There are different approaches. Peter went really, really, really deep. And I think you learn a lot from this book, even if you're already an experienced street shooter. I personally have enjoyed the book so much. So Peter, where can I find the book?
In Amazon and the Great British Bookstore. Yeah.
All right.
You probably put some links.
Yes, I'll put some of the links below. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to Peter's channel as well.
And if you haven't, he's very close to the 100,000.
Almost
100K,
there.
so-
Almost there. We are both very close.
Well,
We're almost very,
so
very close.
If you haven't, please subscribe.
Please help us to achieve 100K.
Yeah.
And
Also, don't forget to buy Robin a cup of coffee.
thank you. And Peter as well.
Because I've heard that the coffee is overpriced here.
Yes.
I haven't really seen that coffee yet.
I'll bring you to the coffee. And thank you so much, Peter. It's been such a pleasure.
Likewise, it's.
I think
great.
a
Thank
lot
you so
of
much
people will learn something about the book. And guys, please do get the book. All right, that's it for today. I'll see you guys in the next one. And please go out and take more photographs.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.